Greetings and welcome to the big night, Ariane's 200th. We're green and ready to go. Joshua Jampel here with Alex Madembasi, Program Director from Ariane's Commercial Directorate. Hi.
Good evening to everyone and welcome to Kourou.
We have a lot to talk about. We will get underway after some opening words from Arianespace's Chairman and Chief Executive Jean-Yves Le Gall.
Bonjour.
Good evening. First launch of the year for Arianespace. This is a historical launch for three reasons. First of all, it is the second time that Ariane 5 is launching an ATV to the International Space Station. You remember that we launched the first one in March 2008. Kourou then entered the very exclusive club of space centers supplying the station. Well, this is the second time an ATV will go to the station, which has special flavor, meaning when the space shuttle is going to undergo its final launches in the coming weeks or months. The second reason, it's the 200th Ariane launch. I have talked to some veterans who were here for the first launch on Christmas Eve 1979. I can tell you that at the time, nobody imagined that one day there would be 200 launches, and only 30 years later. It proved the speed at which the Ariane program has developed and our success. The third reason is as important. As you know, this year, Arianespace decided to change gear. Beside Ariane, we will have Soyuz and Vega launches in 2011. 6 Ariane 5 launches, with, of course, one tonight, 5 Soyuz launches, 2 from Guyana. The first one will take place in summer, with the first Galileo constellation satellite. In parallel, there will be 3 Soyuz launches in Baikonur and also the first Vega launch. So as you can see, this launch had 3 good reasons to be historical. And once more, Arianespace is proving its extraordinary capability to meet its deadlines. This date, February 15th, was decided with the station partners and our client, the European Space Agency, on October 1st. The remarkable thing is that between October 1st and today, we have launched 3 other Ariane 5, orbiting 6 big satellites at the end of October, November and December. When we announced this date, few people believed we could do it. But today is indeed February 15th. Let me invite you to watch the launch of Ariane 5 ES ATV-2 Johannes Kepler.
2011, of course, a big year, as Mr. Le Gall said, but Arianespace coming off a big year of 2010, 12 satellites launched, 6 launches, over 45 tons of space hardware. Looking into the Flight Directorate here, Alex.
The Flight Directorate, which is put in place for each launch. On top of the launch-based organization, it has the power to decide to continue or suspend the operations in case of any serious issue related to the launch global security or reliability.
Any unexpected occurrences coming up this evening? You'll see these gentlemen on the phones with their teams here at the space base and around the world. The final decision, if anything comes up, is made here. We're going to be hearing from the Launch Director and the Mission Director on the launcher campaign. We'll be back.
Well, it is indeed a specific campaign because it is the 200th Ariane launch. It started very early, immediately after Flight 197 last year.
These hard-working teams were involved with assembly of the Ariane 5 since October of last year. They took advantage of the lessons learned from the first ATV flight. This saved time where work on the passenger was concerned. Flight 200, however, had certain restrictions, like all Ariane launches preceding it.
We started with the preparation of ground facilities and of the launcher, and went on till the ATV-2 reached the BAF. We also worked between Christmas and New Year to be ready to receive Johannes Kepler ATV-2.
ATV-2 has a special cargo access device to load last-minute items. It's the first time the European Space Agency has used such an element. Over 400 kilograms will be loaded through the International Space Station hatch, with the ATV in the vertical position atop Ariane 5. This gives flexibility in adapting the cargo to the needs of the space station.
Last-minute freight integration allows NASA to integrate the equipment necessary for the station as late as possible, knowing that nominally most of the freight is integrated 3 months before launch. Entering the module generates access constraints in terms of cleanliness and contamination. The European Space Agency implements procedures to make sure the operator's environment is fully compliant when he goes down into the module.
Another restriction, this launch is programmed for a fixed liftoff time, no launch window.
The last phase, that is the transfer of the launch vehicle to the launch pad, followed by filling, requires full compliance with the schedule because tonight we have no launch window.
After the launch readiness review, Ariane 5 was given the green light to move to the launch zone. This transfer is done the day before liftoff. Riding on the launch table specially conceived for it, Ariane makes her way slowly on the rail track, pulled by a special truck, to its position on the launch pad. Here, it awaits the final countdown. Awaiting final countdown now, too. Tonight, a very European launch. As a matter of fact, the launch manager, launch operations manager you saw in the film there, Klaus Zell, the first non-Frenchman we've ever used. He's a German. The green status panels, Alex.
Oui, it shows the health status of the ATV, the launch vehicle, and all the ground systems which are assigned to measuring, monitoring, or controlling all throughout the launch operations. So the security of the launch base and its vicinity is one of the primary concerns. In case of anomaly, the corresponding indication would turn to red, preventing the launch to occur until it turns back to green.
Attention pour la séquence finale, lanceur.
That's the DDO. He's one of the main players tonight. He's going to announce the 7-minute mark, and you're going to be hearing from him during the broadcast.
Yes, he's one of the key persons of the launch campaign, indeed.
Top H0 7 minutes.
So he's announced the -7-minute mark, which is also called the automatic or synchronized sequence, which is the computers taking over, huh, Alex?
The EPC propellant tanks are still being filled with liquid oxygen and hydrogen. And from now, any activation of the ground or launcher electrical or mechanical system is automatically synchronized and decided by a computer, which will progressively put the launcher in flight configuration, followed by the ignition and control of the main engine, Vulcan 2.
A look under the fairing now at the ATV. Basically, I guess you could say a large cylinder, 10 meters by 4.5 meters wide. She will be 22 meters in all with the solar panels deployed, and that will come at the very, very end of our broadcast in about an hour from now, so stay tuned. 2 modules, the service module with the avionics propulsion systems, and the cargo module, of course, bringing much-needed supplies to the ISS. In all, 20 tons, the largest ever built in Europe, the largest launched by Ariane. We're going to go back into Jupiter, and you'll see the program directors now, more key players. These are people who are the Ariane space interface with the satellite mission directors. As a matter of fact, it's your job, isn't it, Alex?
Yes, it is. Christophe, as me, is in charge of the contracts management between Ariane Space and its customer, here, ESA. So from the signature of the contract up to the instant of the launch, he will have to organize and coordinate the work of all the specialists who will eventually state on the ability of the ATV to withstand the launcher environment. So for a telecommunication satellite, it takes approximately 18 months to conduct all the necessary studies on thermal, dynamic, acoustic, and state on the compatibility with respect to the qualification of the satellite to the launcher environment.
And that's your job to follow this from 18 months before liftoff down to you have an after-launch review, I imagine, as well.
Absolutely. So we analyze all the data from the flight, of course, and we state on the ability for the next launch to take place.
Coming up on 4.5 minutes of the launch, we can get a look at the launcher now.
Yeah, the launcher is composed of the 2 solid boosters, big boosters of 280 tons each, the main stage, the EPC, which carries approximately 175 tons of propellant for a dry mass of 14 tons. And on top of the EPC, the EPS, the storable propellant stage, and supporting the ATV and its adapter, and enveloped by the fairing.
A red, as you can see in the upper right-hand corner.
So a red did occur. So one of the systems has had an anomaly, and the launch team is now investigating to come back to green as early as possible. So we wait until some further information is given.
Arrêt du décompte suite à un rouge, ensemble de lancement.
Rouge, launch facilities, I guess is the translation of that, ensemble de lancement.
Yes, there are so many parameters that are monitored that one of them may have a wrong indication, then provoking a red. And then the team has some short time to investigate and fix the anomaly, and then put the indicator back to green, and then we go for launch.
And we mentioned, Alex was talking about the green status panels. The space base here is a very wide one, and a lot going on, all the different services, including launch services and the launch for the satellites, the weather, safety, telemetry, the downrange
Tous de
stations.
l'EDO, la chronologie est arrêtée définitivement aujourd'hui, mardi 15.
So GDO says that the countdown is stopped because we have a fixed instant of launch. We don't have a launch window. So once the synchronized sequence has started, we have to launch on 80 time. Otherwise, we have to stop and then come back for another attempt, which will probably be tomorrow. So we wait until Mr. Legal says some word about the resumption of all the operations.
Okay, so there you have it. We're waiting for Mr. Legal to come out from the fishbowl on the other side, out into the red room where the VIPs and the invited guests are sitting. Countdown proceeded until -4 minutes and 1 second, as you saw. Then we had a hold. And since we have no launch window, as Alex said, the DDO declared that the countdown and all activities definitely stopped for tonight. Jean-Yves Legal making his way to the podium for his statement.
Bien, comme vous l'avez vu.
Well, as you have seen during the final countdown, one of the flashlights went red. Since we had no launch window, there will be no other attempt. From what I was told, there is an erroneous piece of data coming from the filling of the launcher. Our teams are already working on that to see what is happening and to try a new attempt tomorrow. I'm sorry, but you know, this is a difficult exercise and it doesn't work 100% of time.
So there you have it. We're stopped for tonight. There will probably be a press conference or some press releases and announcement, and we should see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place. But check with the Ariane, check on the website arianespace.com. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.